Welcome to the Battle of Psychics. In this television project, we test people with supernatural abilities. Now we have 6 people left. All our participants are confident that they are endowed with the gift of clairvoyance, and they all want to win this battle.
This girl has never been so terrified in her life. This unseen and unheard horror. Can psychics truly read human emotions?
I'm trying to see what a person is feeling emotionally at the moment.
It was a terrible plane crash that shocked all of Russia.
I felt an explosion. I felt how I was simply thrown on the bed and probably 50 centimeters.
What really happened in the sky over Perm with a Boeing 737? I see some pieces of metal. Pieces of them scattered everywhere. They scatter far and wide.
As a result of today's test, 1 in 6 psychics will be forced to leave this project. But so far, all our participants are determined, because none of them expects that on the first test, they will have to meet with a deadly creature.
A 3-meter snake can suffocate an entire small dog.
Python, this girl's name is Malvina.
And I don't look at innocent name. She's capable of attacking even a person. Julia Solova, age 23, is terrified of snakes of all kinds, both large and small, poisonous and harmless, but especially these. From early childhood, Julia suffers from a strong phobia, an unreasonable obsessive fear of snakes.
It's all from me, the snake. Very often the pulse begins to shake. You know, I probably never experienced fear anywhere, anything to it.
She walks around the country pet shops, and in the zoo with reptiles, it can only be dragged by force. Well, for today, despite her terrible phobia, Julia agreed to take part in our experiment. This time we are going to test whether psychics are really able to capture the strongest human emotions without seeing the person himself. If so, that is, it will not be difficult for the presenters to feel the panic fear that this girl experiences being next to such a creepy creature. One-on-one with a 10-foot python. Julia will spend several hours in this small booth. But clairvoyants will not be able to see and hear the girl from psychics. It will be separated by impenetrable curtains. Moreover, we placed 4 more booths next to this room. Each of them will be busy with the most pleasant things. 1. This person will enjoy delicious food. And 2. Bodybuilder from admiring her own body. And 3 gamers from their favorite toy. But in booth 5, this young man will be given a massage. Make every room a pleasure. And only this booth at number 4. Filled with fear and horror, will psychics feel where this girl, the paralyzing fear, pulsates? Can they feel this uncontrollable terror? The course of our experiment will be monitored by the famous actress and TV presenter Lera Kudryavtseva.
Even I felt scared.
Shamans will try to feel the energy of fear.
In front of you there are 5 rooms. In 4 of them, people experience positive emotions. 1 person experiences horror and fear. You need to determine which of these rooms the person is terrified in.
Who experiences horror? Yes, yes.
You need to find this room. You can't open it, okay?
Here I feel a man sitting here, like a chandelier stands on the table. Well, it feels like a rich man. Well, those who struggle rarely are rich.
Yes.
I begin to notice an energy that is gradually emanating. The lack of presence in a current location for some reason.
In the third room.
Room 3. I had a sensation as though somebody was present in this place. That's the feeling. Like someone on this side. Yes, on this side, but it's here. Standing like a lounger or a bed. Somewhere here, I think. In this location, an individual resembles a young man, and what I can vividly perceive is the presence of a woman, as if two people, a man and a woman, are sitting right here.
Amazingly, despite the dense and seemingly impenetrable fabric, Shaman was able to observe and describe some intricate details of the events occurring in the booths. However, her primary mission is to sense the overwhelming energy of unrestrained fear that fills one specific room.
I will remind you now that out of 5 rooms, you need to choose one single room where a person experiences fear. You can already tell what kind of room this is.
Firstly, there is an inexplicable vibration that resonates with me. I detect a man's presence which instills an inexplicable fear within me. Nonetheless, I am inclined to select this particular room.
All right, you have selected room number 1 and you are prepared to enter.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Are you prepared? Yes, let's find out.
Hello, sunshine.
It appears that you were right. A young man is sitting at a round table in front of him.
A chandelier.
What could he be afraid of here?
I eat all kinds of delicious things here.
So I was wrong.
Regrettably, you were mistaken.
Pardon me. Enjoy your meal.
Thank you very much.
For some inexplicable reason, I felt a vibration from booth 1, or maybe I'm just really nervous and concerned.
I think that she has a sense of extraterrestrial abilities, as she said that here the man, here the table, here, like a chandelier said, that is, here this kind of thing resembles.
The booths are located next to each other. Feel this line. Where there is fear, where there is pleasure, I find it very hard.
No matter how hard Shaman Cocheta tried with the main task of our trial. Although I never made it, there are 5 more psychics waiting their turn. Will any of them manage to perceive the room infused with fear?
Oh, please give me a break. I'm genuinely scared.
I don't feel an overwhelming sense of fear, more like a mix of both.
We're ready to see what's going on in this room.
Many people have heard that psychics possess the power to predict catastrophic events and natural disasters. Individuals with acute intuition assert that they can sense the energies of fear and terror regardless of distance. Is that truly the case? We'll explore this further in our next investigation.
Never before in her lifetime had this girl experienced such intense fear. At this moment, she can hardly keep herself from screaming due to the sheer terror engulfing her. Beside her stands a 3-meter-long patok, and Yulia suffers from a congenital, uncontrollable, and severe phobia of snakes.
I probably never feel such a fear anywhere.
The girl agreed to spend several hours in the company of the creature she hated. For the sake of our experiment, we want to test whether it is true that psychics can detect human emotions. During our rigorous test, Julia is here in a booth with tightly drawn curtains and is constantly in a state of fear. In 4 adjacent rooms, people are conversely finding enjoyment. A gourmet enjoys delicious food, a bodybuilder admires their physique, a gamer indulges in their favorite game, and a young man enjoys a massage. And only room number 4 is engulfed by this girl's overwhelming horror. So will psychics be able to capture feelings of panic fear? Will they see where the fear pulsates? TV presenter Lera Kudryavtseva is watching the experiment. And to avoid unforeseen situations next to the snake is an experienced trainer. Now the sorcerers Vlad Kadoni will attempt to sense the presence of fear.
In 4 of these rooms, individuals are experiencing pleasure, while only in 1 room, a person experiences intense fear and horror. You must identify in which room this is occurring. The task is clear. Yes, absolutely.
Can I
You can walk. The only thing you can't open these rooms.
From this anxiety arise. Here I am room 4. Am in the mood for contemplation. I'm trying to look directly at the emotional background. What is the person feeling emotionally at the moment? Well, I'm not feeling it. If there had been a slight emotional background, what would it have meant?
Now, generally, I attempted to encapsulate the overall.
Well, what did you feel?
It seems as if there is a person here, but he's not alone. There are actually 2 people present.
Yes.
But something is wrong with him. But I can't understand. Maybe it's some kind of animal. Maybe the numbers are confusing. From the overall context, I deduce the number 3.
What comes from 3?
Here are 3 X just fall out and...
Everything seemed to me you were at 4 when you said there was no excitement there.
In general, let's not worry. Let's stop at the number 3. Yes, because it falls out for me, and that's it, although I always have the number 3. It's associated with negativity.
Are you prepared to witness what's happening in this room? Yes.
Playing a game.
This game doesn't evoke fear.
It's not sitting just playing.
Basically, it's not fear. I think that this is still not this room where a person experiences fear.
I'm sure it's not.
Yes.
And Vlad was once one step away from the correct answer.
After all, for nearly the entire duration of the test, he remained by room number 4, where the girl was in the grip of profound panic.
In my opinion, he did a bad job that he moved away from his one opinion, because they say that one opinion is always the best.
Why did Vlad choose another room? He himself finds it difficult to explain.
I had one impression, then I began to doubt. Then I began to look for extra confirmation to be 100% sure. Then while I was looking for additional confirmation, I began to finally doubt. And then I just fell apart. And that's it.
Will other psychics be able to discover where the fear is hiding? After all, Julia's horror does not weaken for a minute.
Oh, horror.
Lilia will begin test next. Give me your hands, I'm afraid. As it turned out, the clairvoyant also has a phobia. She is afraid of heights, and in order to pass the test, she needs to climb to the podium with a height of 10 centimeters.
Greetings, Lilia.
Understanding the task, the clairvoyant gained a significant boost in confidence. So find fear, right?
Lilia, why do you avoid even approaching the booths in that manner?
Well, like this.
I'm not.
Perform with the pendulum. I hold it in disdain.
I just asked.
Here are brains. That is brains.
Okay, you're interested in looking in there? Well, yeah, let's take a look.
Oh.
But nevertheless, Lilia, you are right. Here is a girl who is insanely afraid of snakes. She has a phobia, and I can tell you that you are the only one who shows.
Of course, talent is my thing.
I congratulate you. You're good.
Invite me to...
Comedy club. The comedy club ensures I'm terrified. And then we laugh together.
Lilia Boole completed the challenge in a minute and a half.
She's absolutely positive. There is an overwhelming positive energy in the air, and I can truly feel it. I genuinely enjoyed it, and I will take this positive vibe into the next series of tests.
Whether by her own fear of heights and similarity of emotions, the clairvoyant easily found the right room. The next test began Psychic Customs Officer Alexander Litvin. The feeling of someone else's fear is well known to him, because the customs encounters constantly. However, going around all the rooms, the psychic made an unexpected conclusion.
100% feeling of horror and fear, and I don't feel at all, but just a feeling of discomfort of some kind.
Is it possible to call
Discomfort of
what a girl experiences while being next to a snake?
Actually, I'm experiencing it more profoundly.
Either way, the psychic unfortunately failed his task. Another clairvoyant, Elena Smelova, did not feel fear either. For some reason, I'm starting to get nervous. She experienced sustained interest, the only massage room.
Everything is perfectly fine. Yes, indeed. Enjoy yourselves to the fullest.
The most recent psychic, Zirodin Razaev, immediately confessed that it would be incredibly challenging for him to handle this particular task.
Are you worried?
Yes.
Heavy.
3 and 4.
Yes, that's right.
Heavy!
Yes.
All he fears.
Inside appears to be something quite ominous and unsettling.
Seems that there are two bodies, perhaps two, one of them women. One of them distinctly resembles a man.
Two people, a woman and a man, right?
Yes.
There are black stick protruding from the bottom and something else unidentifiable.
Choose this. Do you remember the Sons of America 4?
Yes, here.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Open up. Let's open together. Well, I congratulate you. Thank you. Of course, it wasn't such a huge snake, but nevertheless, I think that at least it's cooler than you. No one has ever described this room.
And so 2 of the 6 psychics were still able to open the required curtain. Does this mean that neither Zera Dirzaev nor Lilia Bull will not leave our battle today? We will find out at the end of this program. And our psychics will face their final test today. Just 2 months ago, the entire country learned about this horrifying tragedy.
On September 14th, a Boeing 737 aircraft crashed in the southwestern city of Perm.
I saw his wing was on fire.
There were 88 people on board and all of them perished.
What happened? Why exactly did he die? And people died because of what?
Can psychics perceive the true events that occurred in the air?
The driver of the vehicle was extremely anxious.
I am unable to distinguish if it's a man or a woman in black clothing.
This will not be the last plane.
You are watching the Battle of Psychics. I, Mikhail Porechenkov, inform you that 6 of our participants will confront a tragedy that occurred 2 months ago, resulting in the loss of more than 80 lives. It was covered extensively by all newspapers and TV channels, yet the true cause of this tragic incident remains a mystery.
September 14th, this sad date, remember residents of Perm. In the early hours, a 737 passenger aircraft crashed within the city. All 82 passengers and 6 crew members lost their lives. The airliner crashed on railway tracks near residential areas. There are no casualties among the population on Earth. The impact was so strong that the wreckage of the aircraft was scattered 4,000. The plane crashed in front of dozens of witnesses.
I felt an explosion. I felt how I was simply thrown on the bed and probably 50 centimeters. Then my daughter came running to the room and shouted that the war had begun, or that, in general, as eyewitnesses and neighbors say, it all had fire while still in the air, and it seemed like it was a comet on. It crashed in front of the house. There was a glow. Fireworks lit up the entire sky.
The aircraft, owned by Aeroflot Nord, was operating Flight 821 from Moscow to Perm. When approaching for landing at an altitude of about 1,800, Boeing suddenly began to climb and then disappeared from the radar screen radio communication, with the liner was cut off at the same moment. Jimshud Slanov had a 14-year-old son on board the crashed plane named Pogi. The boy was returning home to Perm after spending his summer vacation with relatives in Baku.
When I met him, I was overwhelmed with a sense of urgency, praying that the plane landed safely, vowing never to let him travel by plane again. At the airport, people questioned my behavior, asking why I was acting so strangely. My instincts led me to react in such a manner due to my intuition. I just had an overwhelming and intense premonition that this would happen.
Unfortunately, Jumshud's premonition did not deceive him. His only son, much like the other Boeing passengers, had absolutely no opportunity to escape.
They came and left empty. I realized there weren't even any remains.
Genetic testing was needed to identify the victims. In the sad list of victims of this plane crash were 7 children, more than 20 foreigners, and hero of Russia, General Gennady Troshev. The real cause of the Boeing passenger crash. Failed to install.
Maybe the only small consolation would be to know the truth. After all, what happened? Why he died? People died? Because of whom? Well, someone should bear responsibility for this, just as easily as it couldn't fall.
Jumshud hopes to get answers to these questions from our psychics. He specially came from Perm to meet them. But before the clairvoyants try to investigate the causes of the crash of the Boeing 737, they, as usual, will have to withstand the test. The task of psychics, looking at the photo of the deceased Tagi, answer the question. How this boy has left to observe the advancements. The tests are bound to be scrutinized skeptically. The Safronov brothers will unraveling of the Perm plane crash mystery. The pioneer sorcerer named Vlad Kadoni.
Good afternoon, my name is Jumshud Vlad. Here is a photograph of my son. Can you please elucidate how he departed this life?
I'll smoke. Directly.
Don't look away.
It's hard to look away.
I didn't want to look at his eyes at all, and I generally diverted my thought. Well, he was mind scanning. I came to ask him. What did I perceive he should share? I came to ask the information that you know about me without my involvement.
I have transportation. There are many people in transport. What could be considered a large bus? He's falling.
Up to this point, it has been very convergent.
To where exactly does it?
Falling. Falling.
To the ground.
I can't say what kind of transport it is. This transport, there were many people and many deaths. The driver of this transport was very nervous, and he suspected that something could happen. Questions and uncertainties are sitting in it, that something might occur, and at a certain moment, he eases up. He perceives a dire situation and takes an action that resulted in death. Sorry, I feel sick.
No questions.
I can finish.
He was overwhelmed with nausea as he perceived the additional
questions.
Of course. I urgently need to find a restroom.
Vlad Kadoni was forced to cease the testing. According to tradition, he fell ill right on set.
Get the camera.
The reason for the sorcerer's health problems remains a complete mystery to us. During the trials, our hero Jumshat also felt ill. What does this have to do with? He, unlike Vlad, knows for sure.
He would have so much energy. He seemed to come in. I immediately felt it. I felt bad. Even I could barely stand it. My head hurt.
And yet he couldn't see that the death of 14-year-old Taghi was related to some kind of transport. True, he confused the plane with the big Picarus bus. Our hero John Shute, with the statement of the sorcerer, agrees that the cause of the crash of a passenger Boeing in Perm could indeed have been pilot error. This version is still considered one of the most likely.
I've adhered to the same version consistently since the beginning.
And what will our next psychic, Alexander Litvin, have to say when he examines the photo of the deceased boy?
Some kind of traffic accident. The light is as strong as a locomotive. I see the light of one headlight, the car approaching at high speed. The boy stood here on the sidewalk on the right side, hooked. The car dragged through, didn't stop, drove on. I thought it would handle with a transport accident.
However, psychic Alexander Litvin did not foresee the plane crash. He could not see the circumstances of the death of Jemshud's son, and now he coped with the task. Clairvoyante Elena Rave will make an attempt.
It seemed as if he was going on a tour or something. He seemed to be thoroughly enjoying himself.
Noise.
Voices can still be heard. He wasn't alone up there past some threshold, perhaps like those in the subway. There had to be an extended ladder to reach the top. How's the integrity of the door right?
Closing.
The lights go out and suddenly the fire illuminates like a glowing ember. Wave. So many people, no one anticipated this unexpected event. Well, there was a handbag which resembled a backpack in appearance.
Indeed, he had been carrying a backpack that very much resembled this one, and it also somewhat looked like a bag similar to the backpack. She even described it as similar to a bag. Honestly, the kind of backpack he had.
Oh my goodness, I can see pieces of metal scattered all over the vast platform, and they are everywhere. It was an explosion. Something major happened, and the fragments were everywhere. No one expected it. The platform is big and the flash explosion.
Yes, it was.
The flash fire was intense. Everything blew up. I saw pieces everywhere. No one anticipated this, not a single person. Someone...
Alive.
I believe so.
When
The tragedy occurred involving a boy. I'm told it happened about a year ago.
My son died in the Moscow Perm plane crash. There was not a single person alive at the crash site, even the plane. There was nothing whole, and people there were torn apart, not to mention metal.
For some reason, the tragedy makes me think of the Beslin School incident, and I can't shake that feeling. I see a man. He is clothes like this, that is. There are only one eye. It's just that I can't even tell whether it's a man or a woman just in black. You know, like a ninja here in black.
Shahid mentions terrorists explicitly.
There was something in his ear. He seemed to be communicating with someone. He had something there. This will not be the last plane.
Elena asserts that the crash of the Boeing passenger jet in Perm was linked to a terrorist act. This theory emerged early on. The plane could have been blown up mid-flight. After all, many eyewitnesses of the tragedy tell the fire was in the air.
I saw him when he was already flying in the ground. Well, a little higher than the trees. And there was a significant fire in his wing.
Plane crash occurred near a residential area. If a huge fight, he flew in another 23 seconds. The casualties could have been incomparably higher. However, the version that the ill-fated liner could blow up terrorists has not been officially confirmed. There are reasons for
There she is.
gave a version of the terrorist attack.
Did you have one too?
Version. Most of the people I talk to have this version of the terrorist attack, and I personally do not lean towards this version.
Aren't you embarrassed by the fact that she described Shahid? Where are yes, Ninja? Well, you agree that the terrorist will not go to the airport in this form. He will be immediately tied up. He will not be let through.
And I demonstrated something he was wearing right here.
How she went there with this, and is now there. The mouse will not pass.
Well, yes, especially at the airport in Moscow, this is very difficult to do.
Judging by your conversations, it turns out that this is a terrorist attack.
I see the explosion before that. When the plane was still on the ground, there was a man approaching it and another man was sitting in the plane. Sorry, I can't say a lot.
Understood you.
I have children myself. A family.
Despite the fact that Elena Smolova refused to tell the father of the dead boy everything she saw with the ordeal clairvoyant was coped. She correctly felt that Perm schoolboy Taiga Aslanov had become a victim of a plane crash, while unlike her, other psychics were unable to feel anything of what really happened.
It was bad company.
Money.
I am looking at the cards.
Yes, for sure about the card.
Should have
Bring it.
money. Sitting.
Father is forced to serve this nonsense. I think such tragic trials are... If you are unprepared for a psychic, it's advisable to what you are not ready. Fantasizing otherwise is pointless.
I see that the child experienced some stress and violence. He was killed as if there were two people in the evening.
He tragically passed away in a plane crash in Perm. No one marked him.
You bore all your sins. You aspired to live in luxury, and for wealth, sacrifices are also required.
You want to be rich and you have to pay for it. Well, now, everyone on the planet wants to be rich for what? That God takes away his beloved son or what? And it turns out that all these were on the plane and all these relatives wanted that too. What to say then if the whole family there is nothing left of the family?
Despite meeting Lily Boole and the shaman, Jim Shudu did not gain any benefits. The man was eager to meet his fellow Azerbaijani, Zirodin Ruzayev. The Jim Shudu confessed that he only expects genuine help from this psychic.
Good boy, taught extremely well. He had an exceptional memory. Thought to purchase the dogs for himself. Yes. He was ill, and he found himself in the hospital. Yes. What did I hear back then?
He was in the hospital for a long time. I never understood that childhood illnesses there.
Alexei served him as a friend.
Well, I understand. Yes, yes.
For some reason, I repeatedly have this vision of the boy. There are numerous in city, or region, or republic.
Yes, he is absolutely on the course to went there.
For the last time. He absolutely had no desire to leave. He left undesirable. It's definitely not murder, absolutely not murder, nor is it disease. Looks like a disaster. It's an extremely big disaster. Not one with many people.
Very
terrible noise.
The scream, it
was scary. It looks like firefighters. There's a lot of children perished here. 5. 6 greater than 5. There are numerous individuals in the police force. Slaughtered. The other side of the forest. Lots of bodies. I can't say for sure, but I see that there are 4 people left alive.
Zirodina's words that someone managed to escape seem fantastic only at first glance. On September 14th, 4 passengers were late for that ill-fated flight to Perm. Circumstances or luck helped these people stay alive.
4 passengers missed boarding the airplane.
Wow. To be honest, it really appears that way. Just an airplane disaster.
Yes, it truly was. That was an airplane.
I can push one thing to tell you that it was just some kind of technical disaster.
Malfunction.
This airplane is the second accident. Yes, there was an accident.
2 times it was. One time people prayed that he landed the plane. I wonder if for some reason this plane still crashed.
It's just mechanical. Such a terrible accident. It was the plane's fault. The plane was defective. I don't see anyone who is to blame as coming to the manufacturers of this.
Zirodin Ruzev claims that the cause of the Perm plane crash and the death of 88 people were technical problems in the plane. In general, the psychic confirms the main version of the investigation. At this point, the Boeing was really old before the end of its service life remained less than a month. The plane had exhausted its resource, and it had to be simply written off.
The Chinese flew it for 15 years, then they let us fly after us in our function, but the pilot still flew on this plane.
Yes, indeed, if we consider the facts, realizing that the plane was old, a month of being written off, encountering this situation twice, this was the only plausible explanation. That the plane was ethnically faulty.
The time of testing was already over. Zirodin continued to be surprised by the facts, but suddenly the clairvoyant stopped his story and began asking questions himself.
This guy with the cards said something. He said wrong.
My loved one said, they mentioned that if a psychic told you that you were a psychic before, it means he had an intuition. He informed me of this.
To be honest, I can only say one thing. You have had a lot of damage. Quite a bit. Once discovered damage in a place.
What was there? I think there was salt. My wife found it.
On the couch.
I don't know exactly, but I know what was found there.
This is a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yes, there are 2-bedroom apartments. I would like to have a private conversation with you without cameras. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Serodinka Jamshudshut talked without cameras in their native Azerbaijani language for more than half an hour.
Technical.
What I like is that he see it clearly. That is, he doesn't resort to some logic, some tricks like this. He tries to see it really purely. He has white energy like this coming from him, and he purely works, and I'll meet him. He promised to receive me, and we talked to him.
John Shute, the father of the boy Tagi who tragically died, has agreed to sit on our jury board. In just a few minutes, we'll all find out for whom the battle of psychics tonight ends the club.
The psychics this week seem to me to be Cosette.
Well, we probably have different opinions.
Let's cast our vote.
It's just that it's so unexpected, and even in my opinion, it doesn't fit somewhat.
Such an unexpected move.
You see, I no longer know what to expect seriously.
The jury is now open. Who surprised you this week?
3 psychics passed the plane crash test. These are Vlad Kadoni, Elena Smilova, and Zirodin Ruzev. Let me start with Vladi Kadoni, who said that a lot of people who were on the bus were injured.
He started simply scanning information from me. I felt it very much. I even felt bad.
Scan.
I immediately felt a terrible sensation making me feel really awful. Almost instantly, a massive headache hit me, which was astonishingly unexpected.
So let's proceed with confidence and discuss the facts you mentioned earlier.
Elena Smilova.
Oh, she says, I see pieces, iron, and the flame is burning.
The most impressive psychic on this test, Zirodin Ruzev, demonstrated remarkable accuracy and specific insights, making a strong impact on us.
Ruzev amazed me that this plane actually finds itself in such emergency situations twice. Once, he tells them it was okay. They managed to save the plane. And twice, he says it was not possible, huh?
Is that true, really?
So she is. It was yes. With this plane, we found out about it. We asked, that is.
In fact, he
couldn't know about.
He could not know this, but he answered some of yours.
Without the presence of a camera, I posed several questions to him, and he provided clear answers, which left me astonished in certain instances that I am not at liberty to disclose right now.
Mikhail Viktorovich tests to...
Of course, everyone was impressed, as always. Rozayev alone, in addition to Zirodin, everyone in general, especially Ler Kudryavtsev, who led this test, impressed
by Lilia Boole.
She felt the fear coming from the right booth and said that here and nowhere else, with the precision of lightning decisions, she simply amazed everyone.
Listen, I noticed such a pattern for Lilia Boole. Maybe she can't cope with other tests, but as a search engine, in my opinion, mega accurate.
Yes, she is. Discovered it inside the car.
My brother, and then she entered the vehicle.
Man, it's nearby.
Nearby.
She was in the vicinity.
Then what do we have remaining? How many times was she barely holding on?
Well, of course, Mikhail, what do we have to do, Lilia Bool? Who has to overcome?
Who will live battle from your point of view?
The vision of a weak psychic this week seemed to me to be exactly Kajat on the test about the plane crash. Of course, there are a little bit of a
Disappointing.
We probably disagree.
Kajat
Don't seem to determine the fear emanating from the booth.
Kajat
Alone determined what was happening in each booth. Even in one booth where a person enjoyed delicious food behind impenetrable curtains, the full picture was clear.
Tell me then who will definitely not leave our battle. Let's vote for this week's best psychic then. This week, who will we ask to exit the battle? Let's cast our votes. So the choice is made and I go to the psychics who are waiting for me at the appointed place at the appointed time. Ladies and gentlemen, I have gathered you here to share two pieces of news, one of which is pleasant. Here in this white envelope is a photo of the contestant recognized by the jury as the strongest this week. I won't keep you long. Let's see.
Zerodia.
Ruzaeva. Congratulations, Zerodin. This is well deserved and your victory is acknowledged.
Thank you very much. Everything here appears to be completely not nonsensical.
Now let's proceed with update 2 according to our project rules. Each week, one of the psychics departs from the competition. The jury has just reached its decision. It was incredibly challenging to determine who would be leaving the game. It was an extremely tough decision. Nevertheless, the decision has been made. Well, I already know that in the black envelope, I'm very sorry. Perhaps someone wishes to display their psychic abilities once more and is photographed in a black envelope.
This individual is a male, huh?
Young guy.
Any more opinions?
Vlad Kadoni V.
The black envelope.
There is absolutely nothing contained within the black envelope. What do you imagine that implies? I will explain quite clearly that the jury's board couldn't reach an agreement this week. There was no individual considered objectively weaker than the others.
I'm a little shocked. It's just so unexpected. And even in my opinion, it doesn't fit somewhat.
This week, we made an exceptional deviation from the rules of psychic battle. As a result, none of the participants will be leaving the project today. Though there might be volunteers who wish to resign and discontinue their participation in our trials. I understand that silence is a sign of disagreement with this issue, and no one wants to leave ours.
Project 6.
So all 6 contestants remain in the project. We observe that in Battle 6, there are highly worthy opponents, and the competition is expected to be quite intense. Be sure to watch the new psychic trials next Sunday at 8 p.m. on TNT.
Well, very nice.
Very nice.
It is truly dignified and fair.
We have become accustomed to always finding someone in the black envelope.
Yes.
This is always a verdict. Always a verdict for one participant. This is the law, and today there was no such verdict. Understand? I don't know what to expect. Seriously, it scares me a little, you know?